So
Let me get Naveen Chopra into this. Can we be so antiseptic in our attitude towards this? Mr. G. Parthasarathi, technically, you know, Mr. Parthasarathi said it's not our problem. We can't do much about it. And now, some extreme comments again from Mr. Farooq Dhondy, who I'm sure going to provoke more reactions in Australia. Question is this. No, Mr. Chopra.
Definitely
Mr. Chopra.
not. But I do, I do feel, I do believe that you know, that the picture is too complex. It's multi-dimensional. It's not a single-dimensional dimension. There is racism in Australia, yes. Let me begin by telling you also, I don't know if I said this earlier, but you know, I have been living in Australia since 1981. It's been my adopted home. Two of my children are studying there. My daughter is studying in University of New South Wales. My son is studying at Shan at Knox Grammar.
Right.
And I'm very much cognizant of the society and so on. This is the first time ever in all those years that I have had anything like this hit me in the way that it is. One thing that everybody seems to be missing, and I do believe it's also a key to this phenomena, is that this is very Melbourne-centric. Most of the incidents, 99% of the incidents have happened in Melbourne. They are also happen to students, Indian students, who by and large are studying in the private sector, college sector, whereby they are going in for these $4,000 to $5,000 courses in colleges, then living in the cheaper suburbs, which are the lower socioeconomic strata, where by definition there is a lot more of this happening. Now, in this incident that you refer to, I don't know what the facts are. I'm not for a moment suggesting that the Indians provoked anything. You know, but imagine a scenario where there's a couple of Goras in Punjab in a crowd where there's you know, Punjabi women, and the Gora makes eyes at the woman or
but you are coming to some conclusions. No, but Mr. Chopra, Mr. Chopra, 1 minute, Mr. Chopra, Mr. Chopra, how do you know that's the version which you applies in the pub case? You're making a generalization. How do you know that those who were attacked? You're making a generalization. Then you're making a generalization.
I don't know that.
But you're making a generalization. My question...
I'm not suggesting for a... I'm not making a generalization. I'm asking a question. I don't know the facts. I have no idea of what the facts are. We are saying 70 people have chased down. I mean, yes. It's unimaginable. I've never seen something like this happen there. I'm not saying there's no racism there, but I'm also not saying that every Australian is a racist, because he's not. I've got
that is not, Mr. Chopra, that is not being said. But the fact is, when an incident is there, it's true, it's on camera, it cannot be rejected, then one needs to focus attention on it. Mr. Parthasarathi and Farooq Dhondy and Mr. Chopra, I have one simple question for all of you tonight. Let me begin by asking Mr. Parthasarathi. Mr. Parthasarathi, given your argument, racism is racism, a racist is a racist. A racist, when he decides to attack somebody else, does not go asking the person, are you a person of Indian origin, by the way, mister? Or are you a student? You know, or how long have you been residing here? He sees the color of the person's skin and goes in and attacks that person, makes him a victim. So how do you apply that argument? Whether a person, a PIO, today an attack on a PIO may set off a series of attacks on Indian students. Mr. Parthasarathi.
Look, I draw a distinction between moral and legal responsibility. Secondly, I go back to what Mr. Farooq Dhondy said. We should ask ourselves, why just Indians? Yes, there is racism in Australia, there is racism in India. Talk to the African students who come to India. And we have all these stupid Fair and Lovely advertisements as though fair is beautiful. We're as racist as any, so let's not pass value judgments. The fact is, there is racism there. It has to be dealt with. But let's have a sense of proportion. This is one case. All I am saying is, I go back to what Mr. Dhondy said. It's time the Indians got their house in order in Australia and asked themselves, why is it we're getting targeted and not the Chinese, not the Lebanese, not the Vietnamese?
Mr. Parthasarathi, Mr. Parthasarathi,
I think they'll have to organize themselves better, and they vote, and they vote.
No.
And in the meantime, of course, we'll take up their case.
No, but Mr. Parthasarathi, and I want to get a response from Mr. Dhondy on this. The fact is, the reason why this is being seen as pussy-footed, imagine a situation that 100 attacks on 100 American students. In that situation, would the American, Secretary of State on a visit to Australia go down and say to all the American students, just carry on studying, that's what you've come here to do? I mean, that's what has really provoked a lot of anger, hasn't it? Mr. Chopra.
I think that's not fair. I think we took it up and it went up to the level of the Australian Prime Minister. They have a federal setup. I mean, law and order is controlled by the Victorian Prime Minister, not by Kevin Rudd. And I'm reasonably certain he would have sent a very tough message to the Victorian government to act. But the fact is, let's face it, when there is organized racism, and Australia is, like Britain, trying to get the basics of a multicultural society, which they haven't been, I think we should encourage them to move in that direction and support them when they do it. And there are a large number of good people who don't do this. And as Mr. Chopra says, this is largely from working class neighborhoods, because the poorer white Australian is finding the Indian taxi driver eating into his jobs.
But the question is tonight.
It is a larger issue which needs to be dealt with. But I come back again. The Indians have got to get themselves organized. And of course, the government of India will back.